Scuttlebutt is, damn it, Luffy, did you get stuck again? And Zoro, are you in a fat chimney? Are you kidding me? Get your stuff together, Straw Hats.
I always knew Zoro was Santa.
But he went in head first, so he's like the reverse Santa. He shows up and takes all of your toys if you've been bad. And also, he challenges you to a sword fight.
Nice.
Boo-ba-doo-ba-doo-boo. Boo. 3.5, not a real season. 3.5, but still king of the what? Now 3.5. Gonna watch some pirates. 3.5 before season 4.
Start the show!
Hello, fellow adventurers of the Grand Line, and welcome to episode 75 of King of the What Now.
The number 75 makes me so happy, yay!
I'm your host, Joel, longtime fan of the series, and a man who stayed behind when his crew went on so he could get aboard the train.
And I'm pretty sure I'm still Curtis, the co-host of this podcast, and a casual One Piece fan. And I am also a very tall man inside of a very small train car.
I believe I also saw you using some drop kicks in your latest boxing match, which is totally against regulations. Hi there, I'm Kat. I'm the sometimes ghost, sometimes co-host of the podcast. And today, I am stuck in a chimney. But don't worry, my reindeer friend will help get me out.
Kat, can I just say, as Joel, that you're looking especially beautiful today?
Why, thank you very much. I'm much better at checking my calories and going on runs than my husband, who sometimes sleeps in like a bear.
I don't know why you'd call me out like that. Back to the podcast business.
Right. So we ran into a witch earlier today, and she did a Freaky Friday thing on us. Or he. Men can be witches too. It's 2019. But anyways, we got on Freaky Friday. There was a time limit, and I guess right now is when it decided to revert itself.
Thank
How
God
convenient.
I missed being
Yes.
in my own body.
Exactly. All right, so we are a One Piece podcast. We started from the very beginning, and we're watching in 4, episodes at a time, usually. And we just got finished watching some episodes. Why don't I ever have that stupid thing open?
I think
Do you want an assistant?
No, I got it.
Oh, dang.
So we... go ahead, Curtis.
Curtis for the assist. We watched episodes 251, 252, 253, and 254.
Perfect. So the very, very succinct summary, because we are doing that now, is that we found out Robin's reason for leaving. It gave the crew strength, and we figured out what Sanji was up to. Frankie and Frankie and Usopp have been kidnapped. I think we already knew that, but now we know that they can't fight their way out because they got clobbered.
I mean, the kidnapping was actually in the first episode we watched. But yeah, basically, we knew it was going to happen. Things were not looking up for them last time we saw them.
That's right. So for whatever reason, I'm actually having a hard time remembering these episodes. Usually my memory is pretty sharp, but I remember now that the very first episode dealt with Usopp being like, hey, you stop! And they're like, did you just say something?
Hey, Joel.
Yeah.
I have a remedy for this.
Okay, perfect. What is it? Is it 2 lumps of sugar?
It's 2 lumps of sugar, 3 lumps of sour cream in a glass of tea while I give you the succinct summary.
Okay, perfect.
All right. So, CP9 moved to take Frankie. Usopp tries to stand up, and then he is attacked, defeated, and they also eject the Going Merry from the dock it was moored in.
No, those bastards!
Yeah, Did she die? Is she gone? I don't know. We'll have to see. Nobody dies in One Piece.
Did you just assume Mary's pronouns? I'm sorry. She uses ship pronouns?
I think they said she because she's a ship, and that's like a nautical tradition sort of thing.
That makes sense.
But maybe, I don't know. Who knows? It's a ship. Anyways, so meanwhile, Chopper saves Iceberg and Polly from the fire that CP9 left back in the Galila headquarters. Iceberg then explains to Nami that Robin has seemingly betrayed them only to save their lives. She's going to turn herself in exchange. So Nami runs off to tell the others. And Chopper goes to look for the crew members, and Nami goes down to the train station to try to stop Robin, but she's too late and the train leaves. But it leaves with the missing Sanji on board. he's come back to us, and he starts fighting his way through the train trying to get to Robin. So he starts at the back. I think he makes it through 1 or 2 train cars in these episodes. It's kind of unclear.
Well, and also they're set up like a video game too. Like they literally have a scene where they explain who's in what cars, and the CP9, I believe, are in the furthest cart forward, and then they like gradually get weaker and lesser members.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is basically Snowpiercer at this point. So meanwhile, back on Water 7, Nami, having missed the train, goes to search for Luffy and Zoro. She finally finds Luffy stuck between 2 buildings, and Chopper finds Zoro stuck in a chimney. So
Future King of the Pirates and his number 2 guy, everyone. Stuck in a chimney and stuck between buildings.
I mean, to be fair, once Luffy got the full story about Robin, he destroyed 2 buildings to get out.
Absolutely.
And then, what was it, Zoro, like, chopped the chimney in half?
He did.
Joel was so bad when that happened. He looked at me and he went, he did not have the leverage necessary for that sword strike.
It was all the wrong angle.
Joel, do you hear that creak? That's the gentle creak of the pulleys as your disbelief is suspended.
Finally, it's not just me.
I draw the line at cutting chimneys in half from an upside down position when you can't even move your goddamn wrist, okay?
Hey, no,
I'm willing to accept, I'm willing to accept immortal clowns that can be chopped. I'm willing to accept karate that allows you to kick freaking thunder from your feet. I'm allowed to, or willing to accept that ships have spirits, but Zoro did not have the goddamn leverage.
Hey, he has a very strong wrist, Joel.
He does a lot of wrist ups.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jimmy Neutron.
So
in Win, Lose, and Kaboom, Jimmy Neutron told that the humans have weak wrists, and the next time that the alien girl shows up that he eventually has a crush on, he goes, "Stand back, I've been doing wrist ups." I loved that movie. The secret was the cufflinks. That's how the bad guy was able to blow up planets. So long as they took the cufflinks, he wasn't able to do it, and then they turned the master into the slave by the end of the movie.
This was a Jimmy Neutron movie?
Yeah, Win, Lose, Kaboom, a bunch of different planets competed against each other, and if you lost, your planet got blown up. And so Jimmy Neutron and the Earth people had to work together in order to fight, like, aliens with crazy super strength. There was one race that was just a bunch of brains.
Huh. I don't think I ever saw that movie.
And
all right,
welcome to our bonus episode on Jimmy Neutron.
Perfect. Okay, did you have any more to your succinct summary, Curtis?
Yeah, so the last bit was just that the Aqua Laguna finally hits, and it's a huge wave, and Luffy and Zoro barely make it, or Luffy, Zoro, Robin, and Chopper, not Robin, Nami and Chopper, barely make it out alive. And
Let me rephrase that too. Nami and Luffy and Zoro just barely managed to escape the wave the first time with Luffy has Nami and Zoro has Chopper. And then it's only because of Polly, number 1 shipwright, that they're able to survive like the second incoming wave.
Yeah, exactly. And then the very last thing that happens is they make a decision that they have to leave immediately in the storm to go save Robin, even though they don't have a ship. So we'll see what happens next.
Absolutely. And that has been
your succinct summary. What?
Goodbye, everyone. Next episode we'll be covering a special set of episodes.
The way Joel said, and that has been, just tends to be how we say our goodbyes.
It's true.
That's true.
Okay, so the question that's always on our mind, and we always go to the casual first. Curtis, what did you think of these episodes?
One, now Robin's
wish,
intentions.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Her dream, right? Didn't she say that she had a dream that couldn't be fulfilled?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, that makes more sense now. Though, it's funny that she phrased it as dream, because I feel like dream has a specific meaning in One Piece, and it's not really her dream, per se, right? It was like, her desire was that they don't die, but her dream is still the Rio Poneglyph.
You know what? That's absolutely true.
I believe the word she used was wish.
Oh, that would make sense.
Like I said, I somehow apparently blanked these episodes out of memory. Even though I watched them, and I know I watched them, I don't know.
We were playing Splendor while we watched them, to be fair. So.
Oh, hey. You guys are slacking. How dare you enjoy a wonderful card game?
We're the kids that took AP Calculus in high school, and this is probably going to be an oddly specific example, but we took AP Calculus in high school, and we got a 5 on the AP test, and then we went to college, and the college system was like, you got to take basic trig again. We're like, are you kidding me? So even though we already know the material, we probably should have paid more attention in class than we did. That's the boat that Catherine and I are. The boat!
Joel, it's a ship. It's too big to be a boat.
Oh my god, I was gonna make that joke because it would have been a callback to a real world discussion, but then I thought it would be a silly comment.
Folks at home who are listening, please weigh in as to whether or not it is appropriate to refer to a yacht as a big boat or whether they should always be referred to as yachts. We will refrain from telling you which of your co-hosts have which opinions about that debate.
I believe the official definition of a ship is a nautical vessel that carries a boat on it.
Oh, okay. It's like a super boat. It's a set of boats that inside themselves contain other boats.
Mm-hmm. And I think, I don't know if it's whether or not it's capable, or like, let's say you have a ship, but all of the life rafts are deployed and there are no other boats aboard. Man.
At that moment, is it no longer a ship? Has it reverted to its boat-like state? Does having a ship in a bottle on the boat count as it carrying another boat?
That's
it must.
Joel. Well, and I don't look. We're here to talk about One Piece. We're not here to talk about petty arguments about words and what's a ship and what's a boat and what's a yacht. But without giving away who was on which side of what debate took place, to somebody, a boat has always been a thing on the water. And so, like, a ship or a yacht is a very large thing on the water.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to guess which of the three of us was in speech and debate in high school like a frickin' nerd, please dial 1-800-KingOfTheWhatNow, or Cotwin.
1-800-Mix-a-Lot.
1-800-YAY-Cotwin, because that's the 3-digit, 4-digit that fits the pattern.
Beautiful. So, Curtis, you liked these episodes?
Yeah, I gave us some good information. Sanji finally reappeared.
My boy!
Yeah. I kind of wish Zoro and Luffy didn't spend most of it trapped in awkward locations. But, it was good.
The best part of having Luffy and Zoro trapped somewhere is that it's an easy way to contrive other characters needing to do things.
Okay, that's a good point. Kat, how about you? What is your opinion of?
Well, they were pretty standard episodes. I wouldn't say, in the grand scheme of things, they're my favorite episodes of these arcs. However, Sanji's fights on the train, super entertaining. And the train, like, what would you call them? Attendants?
Oh, yeah, the two people that were trying to figure out whether Nami was into, like, a 5-way love.
And we're just super into rumors, and, like, they were trying to see who the government people were.
And they owed it to Nami to find her crewmates because they thought that they were involved somehow in this, like, weird romantic entanglement that they came up with.
Yeah, they thought Polly was in love with Nami and that she was rejecting him in favor of, like, 15 other men. It was beautiful.
That was a good bit. Yeah.
It's my headcanon that those two are married to one another, and I cannot be swayed.
I'd believe it. At the very least, they're like, they have the sort of friendship where they probably get together and, like, watch a bunch of rom-coms together.
Okay, yeah. They play footsie a little bit, they giggle. They're just really good guy pals.
They're just guys being dudes.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm just saying that two guys can get together and talk about romance and that without being involved.
And hold hands and
That's
kiss,
true. Yeah.
and they don't have to
Hang on,
date.
wait. Water 7 train attendants? Let's see if that comes up with anything. I want to see what their names are, because if they actually have names, I'm going to be disappointed. Sea Train is a locomotive, blah, 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 blah. Okay, their names from now on are Bert and Ernie, and no one can convince me otherwise.
Just further evidence that they're married. Here's a question. Sea Train, vessel on water, is boat?
I think it's a train. I think it's a sea train.
I think it has to float to be a boat. Haha. And it's not technically floating, it's riding on the train tracks.
Okay, so like a duck is a boat, but a train is not.
Exactly. Yeah. A duck and a goose are both valid boats, but a dog or a cat, they are not. They are classified as trains. I guess they don't have tracks. Exactly.
Now that I think about it, their explanation about how the sea train works, like, makes two conflicting assumptions.
Okay.
So on the one hand, it's a large heavy metal thing that's probably not very buoyant, and so we assume it's running on the tracks. But on the other, it says that it uses the tracks to pull it along, right? So that would assume that it floats, which would make sense too, because the tracks aren't very rigid. They move up and down. And if that was the only thing supporting the weight, it'd probably sink under their water.
Sorry, that was your suspension disbelief thing again. No,
It's a callback.
I think you're right. I think that the specific mechanics of how the sea train works are a little shaky, but
Do we have
I'm
any
into it.
proof that fishmen don't have weird fish magic powers?
maybe. First of all, we don't know. Like they could. Arlong was able to take out his teeth and grow more teeth, so
That's biology. That's different.
sharks are magic, is all I'm saying. But maybe the train is locked to the tracks, and so when the tracks go up and down, this train stays attached to them.
Well, yeah, but I guess I was thinking the weight of the train would pull the tracks down if there's that much slack in them.
I don't know.
It doesn't
what to tell
matter.
you.
I have a better idea.
Okay.
Is it asking Joel what he thought of these episodes? No, we'll circle back to that. Don't worry about it.
maybe.
Chris, what's your
Sorry.
thought? What's your thought?
Well, okay. So Tom really loved the puffing Tom that he made, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe it has its own little boat spirit, and it wants to do such a good job for Tom and the people of Water 7 that it's keeping it afloat, even though it shouldn't.
Oh, Curtis, that's so cute.
I actually had a thought after we finished recording the episode where we learned about the clobber Tamon. I'm absolutely certain that I messed that word up. But, okay, so the idea is that Usopp and the rest of the crew, but kind of especially Usopp, loved the ship so much that the ship kind of took on its own sentience. Kind of, it's not exactly sentient, but it's able to receive their feelings and kind of reciprocate them. So we know a couple of other characters who have things, physical objects that are important to them, that they want to protect, that they want to fix if they ever get broken. The two that I specifically want to talk about are Luffy's hat, the straw hat, and then also Zoro's swords, especially the one given to him by Kuina? Yeah, okay. I was worried I was going to say Tashigi, like I was going to get them mixed up. But yeah, they're heirlooms of their childhoods, of their people closest to them. And I think Shanks might have even said that the hat was important to him. So who knows? Maybe there's just a line of people who have put their faith in the straw hat.
Well, and it's interesting, too, because I think the Klabautermans, their whole mythology is that they are not the boat itself. They're not necessarily the spirit of the boat, but they are fairies that are attracted to extremely well-loved boats, and they take on the role of being this representation of the ship. And so, if the fairies can be attracted to boats, then yeah, I think they could be attracted to a hat or a sword or a medicine book. Does Chopper have some heirloom?
Actually, Chopper's hat is important to him. Oda has said in an SBS, which are those at the end of the volumes of the Takabons, where he answers kind of fan questions. Some silly, some very serious, but he has said that, yeah, Chopper really loves his hat. It's not as important to him, I don't think, as Luffy's. Like, he wouldn't lose all sense of self if it got destroyed, but he definitely would not trade it for the world. He wouldn't get a different hat.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Curtis?
I mean, it's definitely possible. I think I could see it. Like, let's say most Klabautermann are into ships, right? And that's like what their society deems as an acceptable interest.
They worship ships as gods, but nothing else.
Yeah, maybe these ones are like kind of like the ruffians on the side. Like, you know what? I really like hats, or I really like swords, and everyone's like their parents are like, why can't you be a good little Klabautermann just like your brother? Heinz.
So this is like a Fred Claus situation. I mean, I've never seen that movie, so I could be wildly off. But it's one of those situations where like Santa's things is the presents, but then he has a brother whose thing is like chilling in 80s music or something.
I really like to deliver chili dogs to children. Oh no, I'm Sonic. Joel, I know you haven't gotten to give your thoughts on these episodes yet, and I'm very excited to hear them, but I feel like this is a great segue into another thing that we can talk about that I just want to throw out there really quick.
Go ahead.
Okay, so Chopper came to rescue Zoro, and Zoro went, "Hey, are you holding the cursed sword?" And Chopper's like, you can tell? Yeah, I've got it in my mouth here because I'm a super awesome reindeer holding a sword. And Zoro's like, well, I can tell with that one because it's cursed. So, what is going on here? Does that sword have an evil Klabautermon attached to it? It was a well-hated sword?
It was a sword forged in battle, so it has the favor of, like, the war god or something.
Or it's like a really emo, like just dark Klabautermon, right? And like it's just like
only
over
listens to Evanescence and Limp Bizkit. Wakes up every day.
Wow.
It's one of those he said, she said bullshit.
We're not aging ourselves at all.
But no, I'm just really curious, like, is this a specific ability to Zoro, or do cursed swords give off an aura that anyone strong enough can sense? What's going on here?
I think that swordsmen can sense cursed blades. I think that if Mihawk carried a cursed blade, he'd also be able to sense it. I think Zoro would be able to sense it. Maybe Kabaji the acrobat, because he's kind of part swordsman, I guess. But I don't think that Luffy would be able to sense a cursed blade. I don't think that Iceberg would be able to sense a cursed blade. I think that's something that once you specialize in that, it's kind of like how Nami has like weird weather powers and she can sense when the air pressure drops. Which,
oh shit, dog! Here comes a cloud.
Exactly. So maybe Zoro has like trained his sense to the point of being able to sense it because he's carried it around so long, and also he just knows swords.
Got it.
That's basically what I was going to say too.
Okay. Well, yeah, I think it's cool, and I hope it comes back in a meaningful way. No spoilers, but not yet.
No spoilers, but spoilers.
Well, I mean, kind of, yeah. But no, it's very interesting. Here's another thing. I believe that the thing that the curse blade did is it would eventually kill its owner, and I think the original curse, as it was stated by that guy back in... Oh man, that was Roguetown or Logetown, whichever one. He said, if I remember correctly, that it basically, the sword thirsted for blood. And so eventually that bloodthirst would turn on its own owner and they would take their own life. So maybe what it is Zoro is stuck in this chimney, all the blood rushing to his head, and all of a sudden he feels the hair on the back of his neck stand up. He's like, oh god, something wants to kill me. The only thing that's ever wanted to kill me this badly is that goddamn sword.
Sword, is that you? We've talked about this.
Don't kill me, sword.
Beautiful. So, Joel, now that you've let me get my side tangent out of the way, what did you think of these episodes?
Oh my gosh. So these episodes are not my favorite either, like you said, but they have some really good moments. We know that everyone who joins Luffy does it because he shows them what a great guy he is, and he helps them fight whatever oppressive past they have. He kind of helps Usopp have courage. He helped Zoro realize that he could become the strongest. He helps Sanji realize that staying at the Baradier was not the best way to repay his debt to Zeph. At the same time, I don't think we've gotten a scene so far of, I'm going to die for this man. I believe that we could get scenes like that. It would be very believable, especially from, say, Zoro more so than Usopp, right? For Usopp, that'd be a huge moment. For Zoro, it would just be kind of like, yeah, that's the sort of guy he is. But for Robin to say, I'm literally willing to take myself to the judicial island from which no one has escaped, for which I know they're going to kill me for the crime of sinking all those battleships 20 years ago and being O'Haran and reading the poneglyphs. I will do all of that if it means safe passage for these 6 off the island.
Yeah, the reason she's survived this long is because she never had anybody she cared about.
Yeah, so it's beautiful to see their bonds of friendship in a tangible way, more so than they laugh together or they fight side by side. It goes deeper than that. I love the way that Kokoro is like, isn't that your king of the pirates? As she's standing drunk on top of the thing, like... She's not exactly disrespecting Luffy. Exactly. But she's kind of, it's like she's straddling that line. She's both, what an idiot, but also, that's your captain, right? You believe in him, you should go save him?
I get the feeling that Kokoro knew Gold Roger, and he was just a big dingus. And so she's like, ha, look at this. It's happening again.
I mean, you know, Kokoro's wife was the one who built the ship for Gold Roger, and he specifically said that, like, he was proud of building the ship, and I think he even mentioned, like, that Roger was a great guy. I could be making that up. But, so yeah, she definitely probably knew Roger, and we've already had 2 other people look at Luffy and go, dang, he reminds me of that one pirate from a long time ago. Actually, 3. Sorry, I forgot the Skypian people had also met Gold Roger. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and then, so here's something that we talked about briefly last episode, and I said, well, Oda gave us a reason, but I can't explain it yet. Luffy's been taking a lot of L's, as the kids say, in these arcs. Since Robin left, since Usopp fought him, he's gotten stuck in like 4 or 5 different tight spaces because he's made of rubber, and he's like he's fallen from the sky, and Lucci basically beat him in like 2 seconds. Nami explicitly says it, but Oda has kind of reiterated. The reason that Zoro and Luffy are so full of suck these last 4 episodes is because their heart's been clouded by doubt. It's just like The Force, and it's just like Kingdom Hearts. There's your reference. So now that they know that Robin didn't just decide that she hated them, now that they know that Robin wasn't pretending to be their friends in order to be invited to the cool kids party or whatever, now that they know she's really a friend and she needs their help, yeah, they're going to fight with all they got, and that's why Zoro and Luffy broke out of their 2 confinements at the same time upon hearing the truth. And I gotta tell you, the scene of Nami saying, Robin plans on dying for us, I've heard that specific line in clip shows and by rewatching the episodes so many times in the subbed that I actually, if I closed my eyes, I wouldn't be able to recite the words, you know, from my own memory because I don't speak Japanese that much. But if I heard Nami's voice actor, you know, sa-da-da-da-da-da in Japanese, I would immediately be able to say, that's this scene. It's one of the few scenes where she shows that much emotion, and I would recognize the kind of the cadence of it, and it's wonderful. It's great. So I love these episodes. At the same time, Water 7 is only half of a saga. It's 1 arc, and we're basically done with the arc, and I think we can guess where it's going from here. Water 7's not my favorite because Water 7's just the prequel. It's The Hobbit. It's like here's how they got the ring. Here's why they are going to Annie's Lobby. I will spoil that for you right now, Curtis. But Annie's Lobby is the arc. Annie's Lobby is the big one. It's the gut punch. It's the hell yeah. So, you know, in addition to liking these episodes, I'm also glad that they symbolize that we're getting on that goddamn train, or at least Sanji got on that goddamn train.
I feel like it's less symbolism and more one of them got on a train.
It's also symbolic. Things can be 2 things.
No, everything is one thing.
Oh crap, this whole time I thought I was a podcast ghost and also a wife. I have to choose between them?
That's actually why Curtis and I are no longer friends, because I was like, I'm sorry, man, we got to do the podcast. So now he's just the One Piece casual and the co-host. That's one role, but we're no longer friends.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Once we're done recording, I just turn off.
Okay.
Oh, I had a thought. Yes, okay. You know what these episodes did for us?
Okay.
They introduced us, and he was only there briefly, but they introduced us to the greatest character, Funkfried the elephant.
I was wondering about the elephant.
He was the
Yeah, okay, go ahead. You were going to say the same thing I was.
elephant in the room.
And now we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, so he actually didn't get a lot of screen time, but he popped up and I was like, it's Funkfried, he's cute! So if you guys want to wildly speculate about what sort of role he might play.
The true mastermind of CP9 is Funkfried the elephant. Listen. Iceberg gets all of his mayoral powers from Tyrannosaurus the mouse. Chimney is going to be the one to train Luffy in the techniques that he will need in order to defeat CP9. And her power derives from Gonbei, clearly a kitty cat. We know that Yokozuna is this, sumo wrestling frog who can do the front crawl, and we know that he's a fighter not to be contended with. So Funkfried and Hattori are clearly the 2 masterminds of the CP9.
That is beautiful. You mentioning Tyrannosaurus reminded me that elephants are afraid of mice.
Oh, shit. It's a rock, paper, scissors situation. Spandam will be like, I have an elephant. And Iceberg will be like, I have a mouse.
But then that just means Lucci's going to be like, and I'm a giant cat.
Oh, that's true. And also he has a bird, so that's like two things that can take on
Oh no,
mice.
Lucci has two things. He's banned.
Yeah, he's only allowed one thing. He can either be a cat man or have a pigeon on his shoulder.
Shit, that means he also has to give up the top hat. I call dibs on the top hat.
I call dibs on the beard. Curtis, did you have any speculation about Funkfried the elephant?
I mean, my initial thought was janitorial services. Just using his trunk to clean shit up. Not literally, like, picking up
No,
garbage.
literally.
and that.
Spandam just shits everywhere. He's a stinky diaper baby, and he can't even keep his diaper on.
I mean, the dude has been in, 3 scenes so far, and every single one of them has involved Looney Tunes level of physical shenanigans. He got the paint dumped on him. He spilled hot tea on his crotch, I assume, is where he spilled it. And also he was playing with his sword, and he accidentally set himself on fire by cutting the candle. So, I mean, come on.
CP9 is the different CPs. They're separate from the Navy, right? They don't fall under the Navy. They just fall under the world government.
Yes.
Okay.
It gets complicated because the Navy is the fighting force of the world government, but they're essentially hand-in-hand brother-sister organizations,
Yeah.
but they're not the same.
It would be very impractical for somebody associated with the Navy to have a pet elephant that he has to take onto ships with him.
There actually is more to Funkfried than meets the eye. Wait, that sounds like he's like a robot transformer. There are no robot transformers. Well, there's Frankie, so shit. I just blew this case wide open, didn't I?
All right,
But I'm saying that in the future, Funkfried, there may be more than you think. Like right now, you're just like, oh, he's an elephant. He's just a pet. But no, secretly, he's the boxing champion.
Here's my backstory for Funkfried the elephant. Okay? So Spandam is a massive dick. We can all agree, yeah?
Yeah?
Sure.
Okay. So this man, this just garbage fire asshat of a man,
Tell us how you really feel.
he doesn't have any friends because he doesn't know how to be nice to people. And one day his dad, I assume he has a dad, was like, you're pathetic. Have this baby elephant and raise it to be a mighty warrior. And Spandam was like, I'm gonna be a dick to this elephant. And every day, he was a dick to the elephant. The elephant would bring him flowers, and he'd throw the flowers on the ground. And the elephant would make him tea, and he'd throw the tea in the elephant's face. He was just a massive dick. But Funkfried kept trying. And eventually, Spandam, one day, he just broke down crying. And he was like, I don't know why I'm like this. Will you be my friend? Will you help me to be better? And Funkfried patted him on the shoulder with his trunk because Funkfried knew that this whole time all Spandam needed was a friend. But Spandam wasn't smart enough to stop being a dick. It didn't work.
He's only not a dick to this one specific friend. Okay, so here's another crack theory that is just Oda enough that it could work in the context of One Piece. They are going to Eni's lobby, the judicial kind of island, I guess, or branch or building or whatever of the government. So maybe Funkfried is the noble judge because an elephant never forgets, so it can hold your every crime against you. It looks at you and goes, I know what you did on April 12th of 2008. And you're like, that I was so young, I was inexperienced, and the elephant just slowly shakes its head. No, I'm sorry.
Listen to me. All I want now is Funkfried in a judge's
With the curls coming down its head.
barrister. Is that what those wigs are called?
I am not sure. So, I think it's time to go into our world famous ad segment.
Bow.
So, welcome back to the ad segment. You know, because we've been doing a 10-part series, a 10-part deal with the Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious Life Company, that they are trying to make every aspect of your life better. Do you have trouble filing your taxes? They're here to make taxes easier and to get you a bigger return value. Do you have a hard time keeping track of time? They're here to make your schedules easier and to redefine the very laws of physics just for you. Do you have a particular food that you know you should be eating more of because it's healthier for you and you just find it detestable? Well, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious is here in order to make those foods more palatable and to also help you get the most out of your nutrition needs. And today, they are unveiling their most incredible, their most supercalifragilisticexpialidocious product yet. It's actually a set of products. Time 2.0, Space 2.0, Thought 2.0.
I don't know about that, Joel. The sound of that is awfully precocious. Tell me more.
Yes, well, you see, everything goes through time and space, and we experience it all through thought. I've heard rumors that perhaps later down the line there will be Soul 2.0 as extra DLC. But, if we experience something, it happens through time. If we experience something, it happens in some kind of a space, even if that's inside of our hearts. It's still a physical space. And we have to think about it. If we didn't think about it, is it really happening from a philosophical point of view? We just did Philosophy 2.0 last week, and I can tell you, nope. So the great thing about all these wonderful products is they are completely interchangeable. They work together with each other and they're just amazing. Space 2.0, of course, comes with portal technology. Are you running late to work? You can just teleport there. But also, you're not going to be running late to work because time is now in your hand. And none of these seconds, hours, minutes, days bullspit. 7 days in a week, 7's not a good number. 365 days in a year, that's not a good number. 60 seconds in a minute, that's not a good dang number. So now we're going to come out with seconds. Those can stay. Seconds are a nice measurement of time. But seconds are actually just centiminutes. And then minutes are just centi-hours. So 100 seconds in a minute, 100 minutes in an hour. It's so nice. It's divisible by 10. It's psychological pleasing.
100 hours in a day, 100 days in a year.
Yeah, exactly. It's very, very simple. And of course, Thought 2.0. What can I say about it? You just have to try it. Okay?
I'm thinking about it right now.
Okay, yeah, exactly. That's the first step to trying out Thought 2.0. You have to think about trying it, but then you have to actually try it by thinking about it even harder, Catherine.
Oh man, my toes are turning this blue color? That's part of it?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you think it is.
As your thoughts progress, so too does your view of the world around you.
Huh. So Joel, I have a question for you. What do you say to the people who think this is all a big conspiracy and they argue that the world is just all in our head anyways and that life is just a dream? So really, they didn't create Time and Space 2.0. They only created Thought 2.0 and they're tricking us into thinking they made the other two.
I say those people should think harder with Thought 2.0.
I'm not here to debate what is real and what is not. Obviously, I escape from my reality by turning to a goddamn rubber pirate who wears a straw hat and his best friend is a long-nosed Pinocchio type who shoots, using a slingshot.
Joel.
What?
What do you mean escape? Is this not a documentary?
It's actually a time capsule sent from the future in order to show us the future that we will eventually face, and so that we can slightly change the course of history. The series of One Piece will actually end with Luffy dying, and that's where everything goes wrong, so we're going to have to save him through our own efforts.
Oh, that's the purpose of our podcast.
Exactly. We need to get the words out because one person alone, be the man, woman, child, or judacious elephant, cannot change the future. We need to all do it together. We need to band together.
You know what would help us?
Yes, the thing that would help us best is allocating our time appropriately with Time 2.0. And what better way to reach across those aisles that divide us than by shrinking those aisles using Space 2.0? And what better way to learn empathy than to think about it really hard.
That was beautiful.
Thank you very much.
This advertisement brought to you by a supercalifragilistic. I can't say it that fast.
And now back to our regular episode.
Hello and welcome back to King of the What Now, your one and only source for One Piece Kingdom Hearts references. Is Luffy actually another clone of Ventus, or is Zoro the Riku to the Xehanort that is Chopper?
I could see
Who knows?
Usopp being goofy.
Oh my god, I could totally.
Who would be
Usopp
Donald?
and Chopper as the Donald and the Goofy. That would be
Yes.
so good. And then you could have, say, Robin as the Mickey. Stop, za! Okay. Now, Curtis, even though we are now co-located, I can practically hear you jumping up and down in your seat with childlike energy because you wanted to go into a segment. So why don't you let us have it?
Yes, I feel like you built it up a little bit too much, but
This is going to be the best segment that you've ever seen. You've heard other segments, but none of the segments are as good as this one. This is the hottest take. So hot you could burn yourself. Tread with caution.
okay. So, I just wanted to come back to this. So the word yacht also connotates elegance and expense. Thus, some pleasure boats under 30 feet are considered yachts, but not all. So, most boats, yachts are boats, but not all boats are yachts.
Interesting.
This is according
Okay.
to the Westland Institute of Marine Technology. However,
Thank you.
there are very large yachts that are often termed mega yachts or super yachts, and those can be ships.
Interesting. How very interesting. Now, Catherine, remind me, not that you and I have ever had a discussion on this topic, but was it the difference between ships and yachts, or was it more boats and yachts, and I got it mixed up?
It was boats and yachts / ships. Somebody walked past a yacht and said, "Whoa, that's a big boat." And somebody else was like, "That's not a boat. It's a yacht. It's a ship."
I mean, technically you could call a truck a car, but most of the time you'd be like, hey, look, it's a truck. It's just not to signal which one of us has which of these points, and not to have either of us sound like really stubborn people who are bringing up something from weeks ago. But so let's circle back to the speculation train. Let's all get aboard the speculation train about what might happen in the future. So Usopp is currently on the ship with Sanji. Is Sanji just gonna, like, let him stay captured, do you think? Or is Usopp going to, like, stop Sanji on principle?
I think Sanji's gonna be like, "Whoops, my leg slipped," and he's gonna like kick the ropes holding Usopp so that they break, and then he'll be like, "If people don't want to fight, they should probably go to the back of the train. I'm gonna keep going to the front of the train. It's all good, guys."
I mean, it's also possible that, like, he just rescues him as, like, this is something I would do for any random stranger tied up in possession of the government.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I could also, like, I don't know how proud Sanji is. You know, he doesn't seem to have as strong of a delineation as Zoro, you know. Don't even friggin' mention Usopp's name whatsoever. But I could see Sanji potentially freeing Frankie because, you know, obviously any help that he could have in this fight against the government. And then maybe he could, like, look Frankie in the eyes and say, hey, that guy's no longer a member of my ship, so I'm powerless to save him, but I'm going to step out for a smoke break really quick. I sure hope that no one else in this room lets Usopp out, because we need all the fighting hands that we can get.
Here's a question. Has Sanji ever, like, put his cigarette out on an enemy? Because I feel like that would be really badass.
He spit his cigarette out into Jin's, like, forehead/eye when they were fighting, and that temporarily blinded him, allowing Sanji to escape.
Nice.
I was wondering, like, what, so let's take this idea of him, like, asking Frankie, like, it'd sure be nice if, like, you know, somebody, it would, you know, I'm not here.
Yeah.
What if he just did that and Frankie wasn't there, but it was just a bunch of CP9 people, and he walks out, and everyone's like, should we untie him? I don't understand what's going on now.
You know what I really appreciated about Usopp in these episodes?
What?
Go ahead.
He is not strong, but he's still, even as he's like captured and being carried away by these obviously monstrous people, he's still shouting things like, I have 8,000 men and we're gonna kick your butt and I don't care what you do to me. I'm a badass pirate captain.
I don't know. I think he's talking shit. I think he's so scared of what might happen if he doesn't get out that he's trying anything that he has, and the only thing he has are his words.
Well, and he's lying to himself to help himself be brave. And I don't know. I just really like that.
That's fair. That's not the take that I was getting, but that's the reason that we have 3 co-hosts on the show.
Do you think Usopp will inspire himself to the point where he's like, I am going to fight CP9 on this train?
I mean, maybe Oda has a reason for putting Usopp on the train, right? He's going to have to, like, Usopp is Chekhov's gun, and he's loaded, and we need to figure out where he's going to be fired. And my only, extrapolating from the information that we already have, my one guess is that the CP9 people are deadly in a close-range fight, and then the further away you get from them, the less effective they become because the distance they have to cover in order to attack you. So Usopp might be the ace in the hole, and he might be able to attack them from several trains away. Or maybe the CP9 people, being dogs of the government who have probably never gone up to the Sky Island, which doesn't exist, maybe Usopp's dials will be a surprise technology that they are just incapable of comprehending.
Well, and Frankie also has some pretty good long-distance attacks, and who better to utilize dials than this engineer robot man? So maybe he and Usopp will formulate some sort of kick-ass combo attack.
They'll do a fusion dance. Or Frankie, because he's a robot, he pops apart and then he wraps around Usopp like some kind of an armor, and they become like a Power Ranger type.
They do a fusion dance, but it's just Usopp sits on Frankie's shoulders and he shoots from up there.
Oh my god, that's a total Usopp thing to do.
Do you think CP9 is ever going to hear what Sanji's doing in the cars behind them?
What was that? It's just Aqua Laguna. Don't worry about it.
I swear I heard yelling. Aqua Laguna sounds really strange sometimes.
It sounds like a chef kicking a bunch of people and taking them out. I think that it would be very dissatisfying if you set up these bad guys who have these crazy powers and then the arc just kind of ended with them leaving. I guess technically that's what happened with Aokiji. You know, he single-handedly defeated the monster trio and almost froze Robin. As soon as they were unthawed, they ran the heck away, and they haven't seen him since. But I don't like the idea of them escaping the train without directly confronting the CP9 people. And it would be kind of weird if Luffy showed up somehow and they were just like, hey, we took out the leopard man. And they're just like, oh, cool. I ate a bunch of meat. I prepared. I was doing like mental push-ups and everything.
I knocked over 2 buildings. I went on a rampage, Frankie. Are you proud of me?
Well,
does this... Oh, sorry, Curtis, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think they would have to face CP9 because Robin is sitting with them, right? So, like,
exactly.
In order to get to Robin, they have to get to that same car.
They open the window behind her, they pull her out, and they jump off the train.
I don't think Luffy is capable of doing anything so subtle or so sneaky.
Yeah.
That's fair. We have another kind of question, another Funkfried, if you will, another elephant in the room. How are Luffy and them going to do anything from Water 7? They are sans train. That was the last train leaving Water 7.
Can Luffy, like, make himself into a slingshot, have somebody pull him back, and then launch him and his crew, like, in his chest?
I don't think he could. I don't think with enough velocity to catch up to a train.
Maybe No, I was going to say maybe Chopper can run on the train tracks, but not fast enough to catch up to the train. Could Yokozuna, like, pull them in, like, a little boat?
I mean, Gallilaw probably has a boat for them. I'm hoping they just get, like, this awesome ship from Gallilaw.
Yeah, I mean, they do still need a ship. Does this whole arc feel like a D&D campaign to you guys, kind of? Like, they arrive on an island... There's some bad guys, but they don't know who they are. The bad guys are revealed. The bad guys get away. They chase the bad guys onto a train. I don't know why. I think it's Adventure Zone, but trains feel very D&D to me.
Yeah, I could definitely see that being an interesting. And Frankie's like the NPC who, he's not controlled by a player, obviously, but he's still an ally and he helps them out and that sort of thing. So I could see it.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. I have something else I want to talk about as long as we're done with this.
Get it?
Okay. And I promise this time this has nothing to do with nautical terminology.
Okay.
So, the Going Merry was seemingly destroyed. And I just want to say, Kaku was my favorite of the CP9 folks, and originally of the...
of the galley law.
Yeah. And that was kind of an asshole thing to do. It was just
Fun fact, CP9 kind of are assholes.
I know, but I was like, well, maybe Kaku is like the good one. And no, he was just as much of an asshole.
Can I spoil a character detail that I don't think is ever explicitly stated and also is not part of how this arc gets resolved?
Sure.
So it was revealed in the episode when the CP9 people revealed themselves that they basically are trained from childhood, which kind of makes me wonder how they're picked, by the way. Is there a Hunger Games situation going on here? But anyways, they are trained from childhood to be these elite soldiers who basically think nothing except, serve the government, serve the government. But it appears, according to the wiki at least, it appears that the brainwashing was less effective on Kaku, and I believe Khalifa, than it was on Lucci. Like, when they're leaving, Lucci specifically said, we've spent 5 years here, but I don't feel nostalgic at all. And I guess there must be some line of dialogue or some facial expression from Kaku that I've never seen. I don't know what panel they're using as evidence, but the wiki states that he is a little bit more emotional than other people.
Like, he actually cared about shipbuilding and he enjoyed doing it.
Yeah, and so maybe him being a dick is just like, he takes his profession very seriously, and there's this guy here who's like, my ship will be fine, I know it has a broken... And he's just like, no, I'm 1 part compassion and 1 part evil dick, so I'm gonna combine those two.
I get the impression from CP9 that none of them really tolerate weakness, and so Usopp's still freaking out over this ship that they told him was dead is just more evidence of his weakness, and it's annoying to them.
Not only that, but given the fact that they feel to me like sleeper agents, because of the brainwashing and raised from children thing. So maybe they just really don't like people who don't follow orders. Maybe they're like, Usopp, get rid of the ship. And he's like, no. And they're like, okay, that's it. We're going to smack you around. We're going to kill your dog and the ship. And you're going to do as we say.
We're going to buy you a puppy, let you raise it for 5 years, and then come back. And then we're going to kill it.
Oh, here's something we got introduced to in this episode that I would love to get your guys' opinions on. The Buster Call.
Yes. So I don't know if you wrote down the exact details, Curtis, but basically the 3 highest ranks in the Marines that we know of are the Fleet Admiral, the Admiral, and the Vice Admiral. And the Buster Call summons 10 warships and 5 vice admirals to a single location. And the order is basically destroy it all. And the only people who usually have the authority to do the Buster Call are those 3 admirals and then the fleet admiral above them, Sengoku in this case. And so Robin is terrified of this. And as soon as Bluno was like, we have a Buster Call, she was like, I'll do anything you say, just please don't press that button. So do you have any thoughts?
Well, one, the mechanism, but that's beside the point. Because I'm going to suspend my disbelief here.
There you go.
Also, they have transponder snails, so something like that.
So spoilers, that's how the Buster Call is. That's how they send out the signal. Is they basically do an SOS type, all hands on deck. Anyone who's listening will receive this transmission.
It does seem like it's like an interesting contingency plan to give a specific title to.
Sure.
It's like, couldn't you also just say, everybody go to this place and kill people?
No, haven't you ever talked to military people? Like, they have a name for all of their protocols.
I suppose. I guess it makes sense to have a shorthand in that. But I also wonder, like, these must be 10 really big ships.
They're warships.
Because I know, but we've seen, like, we've seen a lot of Navy ships. Maybe those aren't considered warships?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. So here's another thing about why do they give it a name? Why not just say, we'll, descend upon you? I think part of it is because this is a series that is being written, like because it's literally a work of fiction, you want to be able to, at a later point in time, reference it. Fairy Tail, right? There's a special magic spell called, like, Fairy Glitter that's, like, the most powerful. It's like an aerial strike, satellite bomb attack type thing. And the reason I believe that they gave it the name Fairy Glitter was so that later, when another character shows up who is able to use an attack comparable, they could say, oh, that's just like Fairy Glitter, rather than saying, oh, it's just like that one time that one person used a lot of magic power. So,
That's
having
fair.
the name Buster Call, we can now at a later point in time, let's say they face an admiral. They go to an island and Aokiji is there, and they're like, hi, Aokiji. And he's like, I'm going to do that thing that Robin was terrified of. I'm going to do that thing right now.
In other words, they gave it a name, for that is fairy law.
And there's your fairy tale reference for the day.
Oh, fairy tale.
Another show I have never seen.
I watched, like, the first couple episodes, and then I went, you know what? Maybe not.
Well, I believe you watched the reboot, right? Where it started over. So, Curtis, I have a very complicated relationship. Well, not complicated, but I have a nuanced opinion of Fairy Tail, because on one hand, when I was younger and I consumed all anime that was available to me, regardless of kind of like who it was aimed for, it was great. It had amazing fight scenes and I really liked the characters. But the more you watch of it, two things happen. One, every single arc resolves in the same power of friendship way. There's literally an arc where a guild member who shows up, who looks a lot like Shanks, and he's a blatant ripoff of Shanks. Anyways, he shows up and he shows off, look how strong I am. There are characters out there that are even stronger, and when you fight an opponent that's so strong that your entire body trembles in fear, it's probably a good idea to run. Don't fight them head on, they'll kill you. And then about 5 episodes later, a guy shows up who's twice as strong as Gildarts, and Natsu's shaking, and he's like, oh my god, I remember what that guy told me. Don't fight them head on. I have a solution. I'll fight them head on.
Also,
And he wins. He does not lose. He does not die, despite this warning. He manages to win.
I just looked up a picture of Gildarts, and holy shit, he is Shanks. Look at him.
Yeah, they're literally identical. They're both the super powerful, like, father figure / inspiration to the main character / untouchable god of battle. But the other thing that happens as you go further and further into Fairy Tail is the fan service. Lots of people don't like One Piece because of the fan service, and you honestly haven't gotten to the worst of it yet, Curtis. Fairy Tail
Oh, God.
makes One Piece look completely innocent. There's a grand magic mages battle where, like, different guilds go head to head and they compete in various competitions, and sometimes it's a battle, sometimes it's a race, and sometimes it's all of the female characters wearing lingerie and bikinis, and it's a beauty contest. It eventually turns into a fight because it's Fairy Tail's a battle shonen, but it's literally half an episode of every character, regardless of how shy or confident they would be about their bodies, some of which are literally the body of a 12-year-old, going out and doing this total, like, bullshit thing. So Fairy Tail has its moments. I loved every minute of it until I got to a certain age, and until it got so fan-servicey that I went, yeah, this isn't for me. So, that's your Fairy Tail tangent for the day.
You have me worried for later in this series, though.
In One Piece. A lot of people are very critical of One Piece,
Okay.
and I think a big part of that is that One Piece is such a visible series, so it's very easy to criticize because you see it everywhere. But One Piece has never had a all the female characters put on their bikinis and do a beauty contest episode. It's never done like a beach episode.
There is an episode. It's not. I don't think it's canon. Later specials get into this weird like gray territory where like, is it canon? Is it not? But there is a character who I believe it has the ability to melt things, and I believe they specifically fight a female character and melt their clothes. So there is some fan service in One Piece. I'm not here to say it's the best. Well, okay, it is my favorite show ever. I'm not saying that it's without sin, but there are much, much worse series out there. And Fairy Tail, like, literally just made me angry at some point with, like, how stupid it's.
I guess I would say that there's like a line for me where it becomes gross, and One Piece has every once in a while skirted that line, but it has never 100% crossed it. It's never been like, this is disgusting, I'm putting this down and I'm not going to pick it up again.
Yeah, Erza Scarlet, who's, one of the main characters of Fairy Tail, she has a scene, this is before I stopped reading, where she went, maybe, because her power is the ability to change different armor, she goes, what if I change my armor into that one outfit? And then it shows a picture of her in underwear, and she goes, no, that's too embarrassing, I couldn't do it. But that's canon. She actually had that thought, and she actually, like, it was drawn, her thinking about what she would be wearing. It's like, cool, amazing, this is awesome. I'm saying that sarcastically. I'm sure people who read it, if they're of a certain age, they're probably like, cool, this is awesome. There's a thing. It's on the internet. You can look it up. It's called porn. It's just a great place if you're looking for. You know what I'm saying? Like, just keep them separate. Keep my pirate. Yeah.
Joel.
It's what the internet was made for.
Cute cat videos.
Oh, okay. You mean just
Yes.
Okay.
yeah?
Listen,
Is that what porn is?
We've gotten off track a little bit here. But yeah, no, I just, of the things that you can criticize anime for, that's one of the very easy targets, and it's an easy target for a reason. There are some shows that are just awful. And I would say that One Piece for me doesn't quite cross that line as Kat pointed out, and I'd be interested in hearing your thoughts as we get to the more questionable scenes. But that's not going to be for a while. For now, Buster Call. I don't know. We were talking about it at one point. I said that all I wanted to say, I think.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming now that they've mentioned it, we're going to see it eventually.
Everything Oda mentions. Not everything. That's another criticism that some people have of One Piece, is that everyone thinks that Oda has planned everything from the start. And I think he's planned a lot of it from the start. But a lot of the things he mentions come back later. Oh boy.
I don't think you can say any of them without spoiling stuff.
Yeah, I guess. So we've already gotten introduced to the name Jinbei, right? That was the first warlord of the sea that the name was dropped. And no spoilers, but like we're going to meet Jinbei eventually. He'll show up. Doflamingo showed up at the warlord summit type of thing that the government was putting on, and then we also saw him interacting with Bellamy, almost like Oda's trying to let you know a little bit about this character before he shows up, so you know whether he'll be friend or foe. There's things they're all over the place. There's references, and there's like, oh, what could this mean? What could that mean? What could this be? When Lucci was still pretending to be a Galley Law member, and he fought Polly, he was thrown against the ground, and he used his incredible finger strength in order to prevent himself from taking any damage. What's one of the abilities that the CP9 members have? They have the Shigon finger pistol. So, yeah, the fact that the Buster Call has a name, and we can now refer to it as the Buster Call rather than that one time the Marineford people just killed everyone, it probably is relevant in some way.
Watch them go to the island where the world government is based, where they live, and accidentally, or they, not accidentally, what Straw Hats do it on purpose, but they call a Buster Call on the world government.
Well, and here's another little piece that will whet your appetite, Curtis.
Only one.
A single piece, so that you may become king of the co-hosts. But Robin, her specialty is history. When Blueno said, we have a Buster Call, she went, Oh God, no, please. No, anything but that. She did the office thing. She might actually know the danger of the buster call more so than almost anyone else. You know, you go up to a person who studied, military history or something, and we're like, we're going to drop a bomb on this nuke on this city. They might be more likely to understand the actual real human cost of that than someone who's just read about it in a science fiction book or something.
Mm-hmm. I also like that.
Yeah.
Even if they told Luffy, there's a buster call and it's going to get called on you, he's too stupid to know what that is. He doesn't care.
The man threw hands at God. For God's sake, he showed up and said, what makes you God? I'm going to punch you. So what is the might of mere mortals to a man such as him?
Can I get you a shirt of Luffy looking all badass and like half his face is in shadows and he's got his fists up and it just says, the man threw hands at God?
Yes, absolutely. I'll wear it to every panel that we do in the future. And so I think that has been your do
Final
thought. Outro goes
Final
here.
thought.
Not over there, right here.
All right, folks. Next episode, we're going to be doing things in a slightly different order. According to the wiki, there should be 4 more episodes before we get to the 7th movie in the One Piece series. And there's also I think it was like a New Year's special called Detective Memoirs or something of Sheriff Luffy. It's like an AU story. I've never seen it, but I've seen like still shots from it and stuff. So next week, we'll be covering both of those. One Piece Movie 7 and Detective Memoirs. And that movie is The Giant Mechanical Soldier of Karakuri Castle. So join us next time and have a great night, everyone. Or great morning, or whatever else makes sense. So ends the next leg of the King of the What Now adventure. We're sad to see you go, but we'll be here next week. If you crave some social interaction with us in the meantime, you can find us on all sorts of different media. We have Gmail, Patreon, and Tumblr. All of those are King of the What Pod. King of the What Pod at gmail.com, patreon.com/KingOfTheWhatPod, KingOfTheWhatPod.tumblr.com. Our Twitter handlers are a little bit different. You can reach me at KOTWN_pod.
And you can contact me, Curtis, at Pirate Co-host. Also, please take a moment to rate and review our podcast on whatever platform you're using to listen. Not only will this help others find the podcast, but your constructive feedback will help us improve the show as we go.
Thanks so much for giving us a listen. Until next time, follow your dreams and protect your treasure.
Remember, it doesn't need to be literal treasure.